Right, we're ready. We're recording on this.
Rolling.
Recording on this.
1, 2.
You recording on this?
1, 2, 3. Holy fucking hell! You just fucking humped the table into the fucking hell. You never shut your laptop through Shea. Action.
Oh. Not yet.
Such a diva, isn't he? What?
Yeah,
oh my god.
We good?
You're a dick.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Happy days. I'm glad you're ready. And we'll start.
Ready, steady, go.
1
So?
year ago today, since the Area 51. Is it? I can't pronounce
What the fuck are you on about?
it. You remember an Area 51?
Oh, the Naruto run.
Naruto run, yeah. I just read
what's
that there
that?
now.
You never
No,
seen
no.
that? The Naruto run?
No.
So whenever I keep bound to seeing it, it was all over TikTok and stuff. They were running with their arms.
Oh, I
And they were going to storm Area 51.
That's how you run your 3K
yeah.
down the Lisburn Road.
Fucking flying. Zoom.
10 minutes flat.
You just
Easy.
people driving along get filled. They're like driving along, get blown over because Thomas is running so fast up the Lisburn Road.
Yeah,
Like flash. I feel like we've just diverted into a complete random
Right.
topic.
Sorry for that.
This is how
wee user.
professional we're being for
Start
podcasts.
again.
now.
1, 2, 3, cut. Action.
Nah, we'll just keep going. So, what's everybody been at?
Fuck all.
Shea?
Shea.
Well, what have we been doing? Wasn't expecting this week. Thought we were finished with this, but I got my phone fixed this week.
Oh, alright.
I think we'll go into that a bit.
You got absolutely fucked over.
Let's just say.
What
yeah.
happened? Tell everyone. Go.
So I was having a little issue with my phone where the left side of the screen wasn't working. So whenever you touched it, it wasn't working. Whatever. So I decided there was this new phone shop opening in Katy. So I was like, let's support local business and we'll give them a try. So we called into them there last Sunday and being off podcast and all, having this extra free time. So called in, I was like, look, can you fix this? And they were like, no problem, 110 quid. I was like, oh, this is great, absolute value.
What
Because
phone
It
do you
doesn't feel like value, like,
iPhone X
to get your phone
or
screen
XS.
fixed.
What?
To get your phone screen
But-
fixed, like.
That's compared to going to Apple.
Is that
Apple
not
were
dear?
charging 220 quid or 260 quid
I'd have paid
for a
that
screen
one.
replacement.
Would you?
Aye.
You would?
Yeah.
Would you not have
I
just
wish
bought
I
it?
did.
You probably could have
I've-
just bought a
I've-
new
I've
phone.
worked in a second-hand phone shop. Like, I know what the whole process is
It
like. I'd
was-
definitely take it just directly to the manufacturer.
I got
So
shafted. Like, I went back.
Did you?
I left the phone in. Went back. Well, I should have realised whenever he told me to come back in an hour and a half. he literally must have just lifted the
Whips
phone
it
up
off
and
and just-
thrown the screen straight into it. Like,
A bit of Brit stick out the
He
back.
was super gluing it on.
No, but I came back in an hour and a half and handed me the phone. It was working great, like perfect, like brand new. And then I took it home and I sort of looked at it from the side. I wonder, can you see this? You might be able to see this on the camera. It's pink. Can you see that?
Well, colourblind, so no, but okay.
Nice.
I'll take your word for it.
But it's pink anyway. But like, you don't see that on a normal iPhone. But then I realised it's obviously not a high quality screen.
No, it's an eBay screen.
Yeah.
It's trash.
But I was happy. I didn't really care. Like, I was just happy that I got my screen fixed. And then, like, a couple of days later, it started getting all clicky. Like, fucking, the glass wasn't in properly. So then, that was the first problem. Then what started to happen, it started, like, glitching out. And then, just, it stopped working. I keep ringing people by accident now and all. It's so,
Yeah,
it's so...
I know.
Every ring you
Phone call last
2
night at
o'clock
like
in the morning.
2:30. I
Yeah.
woke up from my slumber and then my phone rang for like a second and I looked and it was
Why'd you
Shea.
not answer?
Because it literally went "Doot-doot-doot," and that was it. And I kind of like, it was 2:30 in the morning, so I woke up and I was kind of like, did my phone just ring? And then I reached over, like 4 calls from you. I was like,
Did he ring you too?
I don't remember.
but it was
ringing them,
FaceTime calls, so I was like, it's clearly not an emergency.
Don't remember
Like,
that.
If you're in an
Yeah.
emergency, you wouldn't FaceTime calls.
I wouldn't ring you if it was an emergency either. Like, to be
Thanks.
Who would have thought going to a phone shop in Katie was a bad idea?
Yeah, so then I went back in with it. And it was just like, no, sorry, the morning I went back in, there was a line came up on the screen. Like, it's just like just a line down the screen. And I brought it up to them and was like, look, I came in here 4 days ago to get this fixed. It's not working now.
Your audio's not picking up on my things. You might want to talk into your mic.
Oh shit. Sorry, Ross.
It's alright.
I touched my
Forgive
mic
you this once.
But it wasn't working. Showed them it. They were like, no guarantee in these. He's like, whenever you leave the place, we show you if it's working or not, and if you say yeah, then that's it. There's no comebacks on it. And he's like, Apple don't even guarantee their screens. And I was like, maybe not, but
Apple are bound to do a guarantee. Like,
I don't know if they do or not, but I just went so mad and then just left in an absolute rage.
absolute rage.
Did you not tell them? No, I'm not leaving here until
after a good 5-10 minutes of arguing, I was like, look, you need to fix this. Like, this is a dodgy screen. Like, and then he was like, his argument was, maybe if you had came back like the day after and showed us it wasn't working, but there's a line down it now. And he's like, you've dropped that. And I was like, no, I didn't drop it. I opened it this morning and there was a line on it. And he's like, no, you've dropped that. And he goes, I didn't drop it. Like, proper going at each other for about 20 or 10 minutes. Like. And anyway, he just wasn't giving in, so I just like fucked him off and left. And wasn't happy. Like.
He wasn't a happy customer.
So
the thing is, though, I kind of think even if you did drop it, I think you would be the person to say, I dropped that.
Yeah, like I wasn't even worried about.
Be honest enough, like
I'm not even bothered about the line down it either. I just want to be able to use it and not accidentally ring people all the time.
Time for an upgrade.
Sounds like you need a new phone.
An upgrade's next year though, so I'll have to.
So there you go. If you break your phone, don't get it fixed.
Pay the extra cost and go to O2
or just don't break your phone.
Or don't break it. Like I didn't break it. I just stopped working one day.
I used to work in a second-hand phone shop, and whenever your charging port in the iPhone gets like
dust in it,
yeah. And then you plug the cable in and it doesn't like go in the full way. People used to come into me and I was like, my charger's not working, and I was always like cleaning it out and all for folk. And then
what do you mean if you plug it in the wrong way?
Like if you plug the cable in, it doesn't go in the full way because there's dust in it. Yeah. But then people never realised that there was dust in it. They just thought it was broke. So.
And what would you charge them? Are you serious?
No, I never charged them personally. I never charged them anything. But I know of people who were like, "Yeah, we'll replace the charging port."
Are you joking?
Yeah, money hungry.
Absolute scumbags.
Honestly, I would never like. I don't know. I think I would need to be in serious trouble to take my phone back to like a second hand, like a phone shop, like.
Oh, definitely never do it again.
Yeah.
I think I've got my screen fixed somewhere like that before and it was dead on.
Yeah. But there are some, I think Uber phone's quite reliable. The orange shop.
But they'd say they're pretty pricey, like. Sure, they're a franchise.
I think they're pretty much the same as. But then they order all the screens on eBay, like they just order them in off eBay, and then their technicians who are YouTube technicians have just learned everything off YouTube.
But anytime you go into shops, there seems to be someone in the shop who's got their phone fixed. It's like, I left this in here and you fixed it, and now it's not working. No, there's always someone in the shop.
Dodgy.
Per se.
Well, what's the plan now? New phone.
New phone.
I just wasted money. No.
Apple done their conference there last week and didn't announce an iPhone.
Raging.
Everybody's raging. I'm raging personally. They announced new iPads, new iWatches, but they didn't announce no phone.
Oh, they'll have to. It comes out every
Are we bothered? Yes. Did I sit and watch all of it? Yes. Waiting for an iPhone? Yes.
I feel like there's just been a new iPod out now.
I'm really excited for the new iPhone.
Why?
You
don't even have an iPhone now.
I know. That's why.
Traitor.
I was iPhone for like 10 years, and then remember me moving to Huawei. I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to Android. I'm leaving this iPhone life behind. It's too expensive. And literally have had a Huawei for a year and a half, and I'm so bored of it.
Let's be honest.
Huawei is not more expensive, no.
Well, that Huawei was 800.
Huawei.
I know. Huawei.
That was dear.
And then Big Trump came out and said they're spying on you, and I was a bit like, here.
Speaking of big bass,
what
about Nolan?
Nice
segue, clean as fuck.
The Holylands.
The Holylands. Find that so weird that we were talking about him like 2 weeks ago, and then he was trending on Twitter.
Yeah, scapegoating.
He's triggered. He's came out to find us. He's went in the Holylands.
Did you see him?
Living in the Holylands house, and he thought, I'm going to get these guys.
I loved all the people tweeting about him like he's going out dressed as if he's going into Syria.
He went out like in shorts and a raincoat. Like.
Right. Here, that might know.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, he's put on. You can do a few laps around the Holylands. Oh!
What do you think though? Nolan scapegoating the kids, like? Not on.
I don't know. I've looked into it, and I feel like he does have a point, but I feel like he's also doing classic Nolan, where he's just milking the absolute jabs out of it.
But you can't blame all the kids in the Holylands.
No, you definitely can't. No,
all the students. I mean, like you can't just be like, oh, the Holylands and Freshers Week is fucking gonna cause
all students.
But like coronavirus has been getting bad gradually the last few months.
Yeah,
and the Freshers Week's happening, and all of a sudden it's all over fucking BBC Ulster that it's the Holylands' fault.
The Holylands has always been a place that sort of got a lot of news coverage whenever coming around freshers and those big events and stuff. And I think Nolan just seen it as an opportunity for a headline.
Yeah.
Okay, they clearly just knew it was Freshers Week coming up. Never, like all the students going up to Belfast drinking, they're like, oh, this is a good fucking story. You know?
But did you see some of the videos? Like,
I know, like some of them were bad, like, but like at the same time, it's like you can't fucking tar everyone in the same brush. Like.
No, I agree.
Like, I'd say there's a lot of students that are living there that aren't out partying. Like. Or like being a bit more sensible, but then there's pubs and all are open, and people are in the pubs, and like and restaurants are open, and there's like how many people in a pub and a restaurant, and you're probably the same distance away as you are like out in the Holylands.
Well, I definitely notice it driving up to Belfast because I drive through city centre to get here, and like each week I just keep seeing more and more people. But
like he's not. I don't see him going around pubs or like going around like. I'm sure people are like, was there not at the start of the Holylands or start of the Holylands, start of quarantine, you hear of all these ones having barbecues and all, and like the police were going around people's houses, like, and it's just like it's alright when adults are breaking the rules, but when it's students, it's a whole big thing.
I personally have never particularly agreed nor with everything he says, nor particularly have I liked him, because I feel like he's one of them people where I feel like there's a fine line between people who say it as it is, and then fine line between people who also are just kind of saying things to stir the pot. And like it always comes back to what we were talking about last week. It always comes back to like Protestant Catholic. Like so many people were tweeting and saying like, why is he not? I feel like this is just another Stephen Nolan classic where he's targeting a very like
really plays
Catholic area. And then someone was like, you don't see him going down around Ballymena or something, and I was kind of like, I've never heard of massive parties or anything in Ballymena. Like, don't get me wrong, but I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is everywhere, but yeah.
I'm sure there's Protestants that live in the Holylands. Like it's not just if you're not a Catholic, you're not allowed. Like.
Yeah, but there's people who'll come up to the Holylands for a shindig.
That's just the problem.
It's bringing it back to like last week's conversation of sectarianism. Like everyone's on about moving away from all this, and then there's Stephen Nolan up there getting paid, what was it, £390,000 a year, who's basically egging on, and he makes a living off sectarianism.
Yeah,
like that's what.
Have you ever watched that Top Table show that he does?
No.
There's sometimes I watch it, and like, to be fair, they do discuss like actual genuine like good topics like abortion, gay marriage, all that there. But there was one I watched, and he literally brought like 5-6 young people on to like question politicians and all this here, and literally he brought like a few Protestant young people on and a few like Catholic young people on, and it just turned into like, you would swear they were like old geezers. Like they were just like, do you not condemn the acts of the IRA? And the other guy was like, do you not condemn the acts of the other Protestant people? And it's like, what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean?
Loving that one.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there going, happy days.
Money.
Yeah.
But it's the person that's saying, he's not going to Protestant, or he's going to the Holylands, like getting on the Catholic side. It's like, he's going to the Holylands because there's fucking mad house parties going on. Like, don't be a dick.
Yeah, it's the same thing. If there was piles of house parties down in like, I don't know, like a Protestant area, but like, of course he'd be down, because that's what he's getting paid. That's what he's getting paid big money for. He's getting paid because what has been the main topic of the news this week? Stephen Nolan in the Holylands.
But like, what is? He's just the footage of him going around the Holylands is literally him shouting at students, being like, "What are you doing? Look at how many views is here!" Like there's one sitting out the front of their houses and he's shouting, "Oh, look at, there's meant to be 6 people in a yard and how many's here and all," and like counting them. And you're just like, what are you getting? What are you like? How is this helping on England? Like, and then he's like interviewing one guy, like he's basically trying to say like he's not breaking the rules, and like he's like, yeah, some students are breaking the rules, but whatever.
I feel like he's taking advantage of them too, because obviously they're all well on. Like,
but it was definitely, it's definitely just that one street in the Holylands, like, you know, the main street,
Agincourt or something.
Like he's went down that street when there's like how many odd streets in the Holylands.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just a cock, like.
Yeah.
Like it's just done nothing, like.
He's made things worse, if anything.
But you hear him going around, he's like, I'm trying to give you a voice, and yet whenever they're just like, they're trying to talk, like, he's not, I didn't even think for any of that footage he was talking to anybody that was sober. He was just talking to everybody that was drunk. And like, as well as that, I'm not sure how I feel about the whole secret camera thing, and then like students being filmed or something, because like, what if someone was up there because they pay rent for a house up there and was potentially like walking past or like completely and utterly innocent, and then they're caught on, because Queens have sent out did you not hear about this? Queens have sent out an email basically to say that if you're caught up there, you risk being expelled. If you're also caught up there and you're studying anything to do with medicine, that you could get like a license or something taken off you.
What the fuck?
So like, if they're looking at that footage and see anybody who doesn't even have anything to do with it, again, tarnishing people with the same brush, it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like so much has been so bad at the moment. Like, but he's just hyping it up.
But even if you were a student, like, and like you've obviously heard about him going on about the Holylands and all, like, and he's just all week has been on about the students in the Holylands, you'd be fucked off anyway. Like.
Yeah.
And like, you don't see him going around during the day talking to students. No, it's like, I'll wait till everyone's pissed drunk and going around.
He doesn't go around the unis and do it, like.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't see anyone fucking going around bars, closing bars down around Belfast that are fucking jammed, like.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, let's, like, it's just the easy fucking option to just blame students.
It's just because I've heard a few people have said this to me. It's alright for, I don't know, you're not allowed obviously in your house now. What is the new rule? It's like 6 people per house, but you're allowed 100 people in like a bar or restaurant. But the only reason is because there's money involved.
Yeah.
Like there's no till, like anywhere where there's a till, you can have more than 6 people.
They want it one way, but they can't have it that way.
And how do they expect people to listen to them whenever they're making rules like that? Like?
Yeah, I don't know. I seen someone tweet at something which I thought was a very good point. I think you liked it,
right?
But it was basically like him bringing light to the Holylands area and like naming and shaming and like trying to make like tarnish people with the same brush. Yeah. But yet last year, whenever people were like taking their own lives, nothing was said about it. It wasn't juicy enough for him. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't hyped up.
He likes it juicy.
It's as atrocious. Like I don't know. It just literally just goes to show that unless there is something that like, and again, that's why he's getting paid the big money. Like, do you know
but it's so true. Like, I was like, somebody tweeted saying like it was like 2 boys that killed themselves last year in the Holylands or something, and like he's like, I didn't see anyone covering that in the news or like speaking about mental health, but now it's like, let's just jump into the Holylands because it's an easy news story. Like, it's so true.
Same every year, like.
But it's just that whole theme of the show. It's just like sectarianism and fucking like just what that like. I suppose like it's his job to sell papers basically, or like, you know, get listeners, like, but at the same time it's just an obla.
I know what you're saying. I think a lot of it has to do with sectarianism. I do agree with that. But then even taking, I don't want to fall into the category where we're these people who like always blame, like always think it's being sectarian, because I think then we're part of the problem is always going back to like the divide. But I think it's kind of like taking sectarianism out of it. He just loves a good row. Yeah. Like even that time, if you ever seen the clip of there was a wee fella basically talking about how gay marriage isn't right and all this here, and literally about 3 other like girls and guys like around probably a lot younger than us just piped up, and he was just sitting in the corner like, look what I've started.
That's what he does. It's just such a strategic journalism move where he like swoops in, he's like, get people hot-headed, and then he just sort of dips out once the heads are hot. I think
a lot of the stuff he does highlights the issue, and that's that no one actually wants to sit down and have a discussion about anything. Do you know what I mean?
We just all want to shout at each other.
Everybody wants to shout at each other and blame people for stuff that they weren't involved in, and but
like on his show, like he had like residents of the Holylands, you know, like who aren't like students, and they're all giving out and all this is a joke. Then you'd have the odd one saying, oh, like it's not everyone in the Holylands, like it's not just like every student. He's like, some students up here trying to do whatever, like, but it's just I don't see him getting any students on to talk about it. Like, it's like, if you want to hear it from a student's point of view, get a student on.
But at the same time, they're living up there because, like, what other kind of choice did they have bar live up there for uni and stuff? And now uni's not going ahead. What are they going to do? Like, piss £300 a month down the drain? Because like they're paying. If I was paying £300 a month, of course I'd be up there. Up there making use of what I paid for. Yeah. Give it or be it if it's not exactly your most ideal situation, but at the same time, £300. That's a lot of money to just be like, oh no, I'm not going up and living up there. And of course, after 6 months of being in lockdown and not seeing anybody, not seeing your friends, like, I don't care how much you run on about, like, there has to be a point where you sit back and think, like, how are people actually feeling, like, mentally? You need to go up and have a bit of crack, like, do you know what I mean? And I don't know, you feel then that people are going to be like, no, you can't have the crack, you know what I mean? You need to be in lockdown all the time. But
that's like afraid of Stephen Nolan jumping you.
Yeah, we'll be coming out of this house. Boys, what are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's 4, 5, 6, Stephen? I don't know. But they're in the house though. I can see them.
He's just trying to like paint himself in a good light, as if he's down on the ground helping out. Like, it's like, you've done absolutely fuck all. Aye. Like, he's like, oh, the police here trying to like sort out the situation, and he's just running around shouting at students, like aggravating people. He's like, yeah, you're really fucking changing things, like Stephen.
It's so scripted too, like you said earlier about him going, I want to give you advice. Like, went stone mad, and then turns around, oh shit, how do I need to pull this back a bit here? I want to give you advice.
What way was that going to work when there's like hundreds of students out in the Holylands and he's going around, he's like, I'm trying to give you advice? Is he like, oh, like if he was doing it, like, if you were doing it right, you'd be going around during the day when people are level-headed, they're not full of fucking alcohol, shouting. Like, it's like, that's what he wanted. Like, everyone full of like drank, shouting at him. Like, he's like, oh, I'm trying to do the right thing here. It's like, oh yeah.
He was there for one thing and one thing only. Like.
Shouting, and he's shouting at them. He's like, oh, you're really looking to have a conversation here. Like, he's like, he said, like, there's one student who did speak to him. He's like, do you want to speak? And your buddy's like, yeah, I'll speak to you. He's like, put your mask on. Made the boy put his mask on, and the boy put the mask on, like, and started talking to him, like, and he's just, you
love for someone to be like, turn around and be like, oh, Stephen, mate, how are you? Are you coming in?
Are you coming in?
You want a pint?
The police give out something like 55 like notices or something for parties. Like, there's ones obviously taking the piss, but at the same time, it's not really fair scapegoating everyone. Like I think it's just, they've just won about it in such a bad way. Like. Yeah. Still, like, at the end of the day, like, there was good things said, as in, like, the universities, they should be doing more, like they should be doing more, but then people, like, that one's on saying about like the Holylands on Paddy's Day, and it's like, this happens every year on Paddy's Day, and like nothing's ever done, like the universities do nothing. And like there's this guy was like saying, oh, like, the university's not, like, people should be getting kicked out of their courses and all this here shit.
Do you think it should be the university's responsibility to look after these people? Like, they're adults.
They are adults. Like, I think it's a lot of shit. I don't really.
You can't expect the uni to start kicking people out of their courses because they're behaving badly outside of uni. Like.
I know. I don't really think it's fair that, like, they're threatening to kick people out of uni. Like, like, it's like, especially when they're that young, when you're at that age.
It's such an easy way out too. Like.
Yeah. I know if I was living up there, I would probably have the sensible head to be like, right, I'm going up here and I'm not going to come home. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna because if I do have anything, I don't want to give it to my parents, give it to family or friends down home. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, there are people who are doing that. There are people who Stephen interviewed was like, I'll not be going home. Like, so it's kind of like that essentially is your bubble. Do you know what I mean?
The uni's like they're living. All the students are living together. They're going to uni together. Yeah. Like, can you not say that's a bubble? Is that not a bubble? But
they're not going to uni. Like, it's all online. Like, this shit of, like, Stephen Nolan being like, oh, they're going into the universities and all. It's like, what? Like, what? Are the universities not closed after Christmas? Is everything not online? Yeah. Unless there's some courses maybe you have to do practicals. Like, but fuck. Like, there's not many students who are going into uni. Like, I know the libraries are open, but, like... he's like shit like that. It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah. I just hear shouting. I don't hear anything else.
No.
I don't hear actual facts
That
being
wee
spat.
Snotty voice.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear it. It does my head in.
Students
Stephen Nolan.
in the Holylands. Tonight I go into the Holylands
But
to
it's like-
interview people. I bring my packet of crisps. I may get stressed and I may need to lick a few things.
Have you watched GTS, like Weasel News?
Yeah.
That's fucking Stephen Nolan. Oh.
Tonight on Nolan. Holylands. What are we gonna do?
He was definitely stopping by in the Holylands bar to get a bag of crisps, and then he seen this ruckus going on, and he's like, I need to get in here.
I'm surprised no one like tackled him or something, like, or kicked
And
his head in.
I would have thought there would have been videos like people like jumping on all, but no one seemed to give a shit that he
It's
was there.
security and all, but like look at the state of him. Like, he's walking around and I'm sure no one would pay attention to that. Like I wouldn't say that. Like, oh, he's a knob. I just don't know what to say about him.
I'd love to see him walking down the street in Thomas.
I'd love to
Tonight on Nolan.
I'd have a go
Student runs across the street.
No, but I'd love-
punches
I'd
Nolan in the
love
face.
to run up on him with a camera.
I'd love to question him and just be like, "What have you got out of this? Like,
Just
what are
get
you
in his
like?
face
What?"
and all.
And like even like all the students that don't even live in the Holylands, like there's so many. Like only like how many students live around up the Lisbon Road and all? Like
I'd
there's,
say at
there's
least
not
six.
necessarily the Holylands.
Yeah, and in halls and all too. Like
And halls, like it's just shit all over the
he's
Holylands.
just marginalising everyone.
Let's just
get Stephen Nolan off the air,
get him on this
and
podcast
we'll take his Nolan
Here,
show.
I'd get him on the podcast. I would.
He'd be looking
Just
back.
I don't know.
I'm sure he'd come on. Like
Nah, he wouldn't go on.
Too big time for us,
I
eh?
know. We would have to scrape all our pennies and pounds together to pay for him.
he's getting enough.
I'm telling you.
I think his wages were
390.
shared this week, 390 grand a year.
He'd come on if we left out a bowl of crisps for him.
He came in sniffing them. I love it. I want to read out a few tweets that people tweeted because I feel like they're relatively comical.
Put them up on the screen.
Yeah. Hold on. That video of him boking is relatively funny. Stephen Nolan went to the Holylands last night wearing country gear looking at a woman. Pass it on.
I've seen that one.
I've seen one as like Stephen Nolan went
Spot
to,
it with a baggy fitting dairy training jersey with initials B and K on it too. Oh dear. Oh my word.
seen
Up
one
there
as, like,
pretending
he
to
went
be a plumber. Stephen Nolan going in like it was roaming the streets as if it was Syria last night. Take a day off, mate. Oh dear. Oh my word. Classic. Here. What else has been on the news? Did you see that?
Logan.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather.
How is this going to happen?
Is it happening? Did you see there was a thing like, what do you call him, Kavanagh, who trained McGregor, tweeted basically saying like, I don't know if he tweeted or it was an interview, but he basically was like saying like, I don't see how he's gonna get. I think it was an interview and he was like saying I don't see how he's gonna get a license on fighting Floyd Mayweather. And someone basically was like, oh well, McGregor got a boxing license to fight Mayweather, and he was just like you're talking about a fighter who was in the UFC getting a license on an absolute knob getting a license.
He's a professional boxer.
I know, but there's something about a license or something.
Logan Paul.
I don't know
He's
if
like.
I know, I do.
I know, but I don't know. But I don't know. And then like apparently Logan Paul tweeted on like a photo of his like boxing license or whatever it was, and then he was like, "Shut up, Karen," like said that and tweeted it, but then it was deleted, so I don't know.
When you do look at it logically, it's like, right, you can look at it from 2 points of view. Logan Paul versus KSI, he lost, right?
Yeah,
it was close enough, but he lost, and that's two professional fighters. Like they are professional. Like I think you have to have some type of guts to step in the ring with anybody. Like, but at the same time, like Floyd Mayweather fought the wee Japanese kid.
Yeah,
who was he?
Kickboxer.
He just made a fortune off it though.
Yeah.
He was paid to fight him. Like
So
he was
it's like,
paid.
I mean,
big money
realistically
to
now,
fight him.
you take boxing out off it. It's just like an event.
Looking at it on a money point of view, like,
oh yeah,
he's gonna make a fortune. Like.
Logan Paul's 85 kg. Like that's probably his fighting weight. Mayweather's 68. Could you see Mayweather putting on enough weight to get into Logan Paul's?
No, but he wouldn't be
weight
doing that.
class,
They'd just be
or
fighting.
vice
Like.
versa.
not, but like it's not like they're going to be like, oh, you have to be the same weight class. It would just be a fight, like it'd just be.
But then there'd be so many excuses after it.
But Floyd
like,
Mayweather,
if Logan beats, by some miraculous way that Logan beats Floyd Mayweather, there'd just be all the excuses under the sun there. Like he'd have that. Oh, this guy's 200 kg heavier than me.
Yeah.
Like so, if they're gonna do it, they have to do it right. Like.
To be fair though, if someone rang me up in the morning and said you're fighting Floyd Mayweather in 3 months, get your professional boxing license, I'd be like, what's the paycheck? 0,000. Sign me up.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Just go in and get your head kicked in for the money, you know.
100%.
But
I'm making wear chunkier gloves, like.
But like it's.
I'd be like, here, pad up. You know
I don't see why like KSI's beat Logan Paul. And Mayweather's gonna fight like Logan Paul, like, and then Jake Paul's doing these fights, trying to work his way up to getting the fight KSI.
And Jake Paul's actually won a fight.
And you're just like where is it in terms of that way? Like, there's no logic. Like, you look at like the likes of boxers, like they have to do so many amount of fights, like basically trying to get a title shot. Whereas like you're going for some, like it's just like it'll just be the money aspect of it.
My sort of view on the whole thing is KSI's doing the YouTube, and then he's got into the music, and he's done well at the music. Jake Paul's now doing music, Logan Paul done music, but like you've all these YouTubers breaking into all these different avenues, and there starts to become a point where I think you need to look at it, and especially boxing, for people who put like so much, like you take his name's left me, big tall fella, Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. You look how much effort, training, etc. he does. And then you kind of have and I'm not taking away from the fact that they don't train and they don't put 100% effort in, but there starts to become a time where you have to look at it and go, are they kind of taking, like that whole KSI and Logan Paul thing, there were some of them press conferences where they were just like, they're literally just taking the piss out of boxing now.
But would you not say Mayweather's doing that? Like, do you not think like Mayweather would have a bit of respect for himself, where he's like, what, 51-0? Or 52-0.
I thought that wee Japanese kid from
I know, but like,
but then you look at McGregor and Mayweather build up.
But that was sort of, I think that one guy he fought was sort of like they paid him like big money just to fight him, and he just destroyed him. But it's like fighting YouTubers, like that guy could have been like a Japanese, or was it Thailand or Japan or whatever.
He was
Japanese boxer. Like he could have been a boxer, like actually was a boxer, and he was just shite. But like Logan Paul is a YouTuber, like, and he's a professional fighter. Like people, I don't know. Like the McGregor thing was a bit different.
Aye, I understood the McGregor thing,
but
this
like
one I'm not really.
This here, like fighting Logan Paul, and then like he's risking, like, what if he does get beat? Like how like he's went 52 times unbeaten on a fucking YouTuber's gonna beat him. Like there's big risk for Mayweather there, but then I suppose everyone will just look at it. Oh, Mayweather's a professional boxer, like he'll destroy.
And then you'll have people saying,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's like Logan Paul's not 20 kgs heavier than him.
I think
like, that's going to be a lot harder hitting than like I know,
but Mayweather's a defensive boxer. Like that's the whole reason he's done so well. Is like he doesn't get hit. Like.
And he's another. What is he?
And he spent.
I think he's 6 inches over him as well. Maybe it could be 8.
I know, but I just couldn't see Mayweather getting beat. But then there's that small risk, like it's like that one hit.
Well, you look at Logan Paul. Whenever you remember he dropped out of that thing he was going to do in Russia, slapping people. You ever see this?
No.
Yeah.
There was a thing he signed up to do. It was this competition that's basically held in Russia. You've bound to have seen it.
Right.
It's like you have the table in front of you, and you're basically just like taking turns to slap each other.
All right.
Right. And Logan Paul signed up to do it. And there's this video, it circulated. He quit after it. He said, "I'm not doing the competition." There was this guy came, and apparently he was like a pure professional, like one of these professional slappists, right? And he came along and he was like teaching Logan like all this stuff to do with it. So they're right, we're gonna line up and you're gonna slap me. And it was a bit of a like a you look like a joke, like flipping Logan slapped him and knocked him out. He collapsed. I mean, he folded in half.
What?
And the boy just slapped him, and you're kind of like, oh, like imagine this boy slapping a professional slappist.
Yeah.
The slap he gave him, like, the boy just buckled, literally like, boom, down in the ground, and Logan Paul was just sitting looking at him, like you could see the look in his face, like, what have I just done?
Set up,
and then after it, he was like, I think I've realised that this isn't for me, like.
Yeah. I don't know, but would you not? You'd be a bit raging if you were KSI as well. Like you're sort of like, I've beat him.
But then at this stage, if I was KSI, I would seriously be wanting to just kick the clean shit out of.
But I think KSI's just went more down the music route now.
Is boxing not becoming a bit of a joke now though?
It is. I don't think anyone's sort of like interested in boxing anymore. Realistically, would you watch boxing much?
I think the big heavyweight ones, like I'm not gonna pretend like I'm all I'm not gonna pretend like I'm all into boxing, like, but like I've watched the
first boxing match I watched was McGregor and Mayweather, but that was because and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a big fan of UFC until I started following Conor McGregor, and then I started watching UFC. I started watching like Cowboy Cerrone and the guy from like Reece McKee from Ballymena and all was in it, so we were all like watching that fight and all, so it's hard not to get into it because there's a bit more happening. As well as that, I watched the movie Warrior with Tom Hardy.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Tom Hardy's in anything, I'm there. And then that was how I kind of, then we watched the Tyson Fury fight. Didn't we not watch the Tyson Fury fight? We didn't watch the Tyson Fury fight, did we?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
We've watched a few boxing fights.
Yeah.
Around Eglinton.
Yeah. Well, when we watched the Logan Paul and KSI fight.
I watched the Tyson Fury fight, and that was fine. But like, I don't think the only real boxing match I would watch is probably if, like we've said, if Mayweather fights Logan Paul, we'll watch it like for the crack. But like your boy Eddie Hearn said himself, it's a great way to get people interested in boxing again.
It is.
I think like he sort of at the start he was very like, oh, this is a bit of a joke, and then he's seen how much money they made and like how much of like how many people are watching it, and he was like, I need to get in this. So. But then I just don't know, like Mayweather fighting Logan Paul, like
it's embarrassing.
To be fair, I will probably end up watching, as much as I despise the grind he walks on, I'll probably end up watching that Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, definitely. Sure, it's on the undercard of the Mike Tyson fight.
What about him coming back?
He looked them videos like, he just looks like he'd kill you, like.
Still, what is he? Rip your head off.
Is he not like 50 something, or is he 60? He's not 60, is he?
Don't know. Shea, Google it there.
54.
I think Shea's been training
on the bag,
on the new
on the bag.
What do you think then? Like, who would win, Mayweather and Logan Paul?
Mayweather.
What do you think? I think you're swaying towards Logan Paul.
You like Logan Paul though.
Yeah.
To be fair, you loved Logan Paul whenever Logan Paul was fighting KSI, and like me and him were both of the same opinion. He's a dick. But then afterwards, I must admit, now that kind of David Dobrik's vanished off the face of the earth on YouTube, I've kind of been.
I only started watching
Logan Paul stuff.
His stuff's
and
good.
Logan Paul's on the Snapchat things now, which I kind of watch on my lunch break. So it's kind of like flip. His content's alright, and I like his podcast.
Yeah, I thought he was an ob, and then you were saying, but his podcast good, so I started listening to it, and it is actually good, to be fair. Like. But I don't know. But you seen, like, the reason he lost the KSI fights was because he got so tired, like. And like he's gonna fight Mayweather, he'll be quick as fuck, like.
I think he won that fight.
No, he didn't.
KSI won.
I think he won it if he hadn't hit him in the back of the head or whatever. He done, maybe, like. But that first one. Would KSI not have won?
I can't remember.
The one that was a draw.
Yeah. I would quite like to start making more YouTube content.
Yes.
We were chatting about this earlier on. It would be good, but I don't know what we would do.
Get a few boxing matches going.
Get the ring out. Get Stephen Nolan on.
Start our own creator house
as a ring girl.
Oh God.
We should buy a big mansion and just like move loads of like creators into it and like call it the fucking Craic House.
Nice. In other news, I sent this in our group chat the other day, but Thomas never took heed to it. I don't know if you did too. The dentist that pulled out the wisdom teeth on the hoverboard is now jailed for 12 years. I sent this in our group chat the other night, and it appears that no one seen it. Dentist who pulled out patient's tooth while riding a hoverboard is jailed for 12 years for reckless endangerment and a 1.9 million Medicaid fraud.
Why did he do this?
An Alaska dentist who pulled out a patient's tooth while riding a hoverboard has been jailed for 12 years for reckless endangerment and a 1.9 million Medicaid fraud. There's some guy, Steph Lockhart or something, but they put up a video of him removing a wisdom tooth while the patient's knocked out, and then he goes like zooming down the hallway with the tooth in his hand, like pure.
Serious?
But apparently the patient didn't know about it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like,
I was like, was this one of his mates? Because I was like, if this was one of his mates and they were like putting them to sleep, and like one of his really, really good mates, and he was like, oh, you know what you should do? You know, I trust you that much. Here's a hoverboard. Work away. Let's become internet sensations. So now he's been jailed.
What happened is, like, they've obviously found out after the woke up and they've went mad.
But in the hoverboard video, he balanced on a hoverboard while extracting a patient's tooth before cheerfully zooming away. He sent the video to friends and joked about the procedure being a new standard of care. Investigators tracked down the patient, Veronica Willem, who was sedated and had no idea about the hoverboard stunt.
Oh my God.
She testified in court last year and she was pretty livid. Pretty livid when she discovered that was happening. When did Dr. Lookhart get your approval to take out your tooth on a hoverboard? Prosecutor Joan Wilson asked in court. He never did. I obviously wouldn't have approved that. That's dangerous. Of course it is. But apparently he's been up to some other dodgy stuff, like he's been like sedating people without a license to like sedate them and all this here. But yeah, I watched the video. It was pure mad. Imagine that.
Dodgy fella.
Imagine going to the dentist and then about 3 months later realising that he's flipping
this video of your
he's been bouncing on a space hopper.
You thought he would have known like something that was going to end up happening.
How did she know though? Was she just like, that's my tooth?
They've obviously seen the video.
No, apparently he shared the video with other people and then the videos clearly went round. And then,
can you see her in the video?
Yeah.
Imagine like getting 12 years in prison for that. Like imagine him sitting in prison there like, how'd you get in here?
An American
and he's
prison
like,
as well.
Well, that's a long story. 12 years.
How'd you get in? Drug smuggling. How'd you get in? Flipping strangle the boy. How'd you get in? Well, I took someone's wisdom tooth out on a hoverboard. Oh.
Hardened criminal.
Someone's definitely getting knocked off, axed off. See you later. Any other strange and startling news?
Don't think so.
We've talked about it all.
I think we'll end it here.
What was that? I feel like there was something else. I can't remember what it was though.
Is it your phone again?
Did I miss something? What? Okay, I want to go back and just give out about that again. There's something else. I can't remember.
Can't remember.
Oh dear.
What a way to end.
Wait till the next podcast.
How far on did we get?
I don't know. I think we're like 40 minutes in.
I think that's us.
Maybe then we should wrap it up.
Thanks for listening.
Yes.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Share.
Tune in next week to hear what Stephen Nolan's up.
Stephen Nolan next week.